Hello, everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I have been watching these stories unfold for years, and I must admit, my heart is just heavy thinking about what is coming down the pike for our dear Alexis Davis. Bless her heart, the woman simply cannot catch a break. It feels like every time she tries to do the right thing, she ends up stepping right into a hornet's nest. I was just talking to a friend the other day about how Alexis always seems to carry the weight of the whole town on her shoulders. Now, the rumors are swirling that she is about to stumble upon another dead body, and I just wanted to reach through the screen and give her a big hug. It is a tough pill to swallow for anyone, but for Alexis, it is becoming a downright tragic pattern that just shatters my heart into a million little pieces. Do you all remember the absolute shock on her face when she walked into her office not too long ago and found poor Marco Rios lying there lifeless? I remember sitting on the edge of my sofa, clutching my pearls, feeling the sheer terror radiating from her. Finding one body in your lifetime is enough to send anyone to the loony bin, but for Alexis to potentially find another one, it is just too much for one soul to bear. I truly believe that the trauma of these events is going to push her right to the breaking point. She is a strong woman, a fierce advocate for justice, but even the strongest oak tree will snap if the wind blows hard enough, and the winds in Port Charles are howling right now. And this time, the situation is so much more complicated because it is not just a random tragedy. This time, all signs are pointing toward Willow Kane being involved, and that just makes my stomach tie up in knots. I have watched Willow grow and change over the years, and let me tell you, she is not the sweet, innocent girl she once was. It seems like the darkness of this town has slowly seeped into her bones. Lately, she has been walking around with a chip on her shoulder the size of Texas. The tension has been building and building, and I just knew the other shoe was bound to drop sooner or later. It is a crying shame to see a young woman lose her way like this. What really gets my goat is how Willow has been acting regarding Michael Corinthos. When Kai Taylor and our sweet Trina Robinson decided to do the right thing and sign those affidavits in favor of Michael, Willow was absolutely furious. I could see the anger flashing in her eyes. It is perfectly fine to be protective of your own interests, but the way she lashed out at those young folks just rubbed me the wrong way entirely. They were only trying to tell the truth, but in Willow's current state of mind, anyone who goes against her is instantly labeled an enemy. It is a dangerous way to live, and it sets the stage for some truly awful misunderstandings that cannot be undone. But the real meat of the story, the part that has me pacing the floor, is the whole situation with Drew Kane. We all know the absolute chaos that happened at the lake. When Drew ended up in that water, it sent shockwaves through the whole community. Now, you and I know the real truth. We know that it was Nina Reeves who pushed Drew into that murky water, but Alexis does not know that. Alexis, bless her soul, is convinced that Willow was the one who tried to finish Drew off right then and there. Alexis is connecting dots that do not belong together, but you can hardly blame her given Willow's recent track record of bad behavior and fiery temper tantrums. Alexis is a bulldog when she gets a bone, and she is absolutely convinced that Willow is guilty of shooting Drew in the first place. And this is where things get incredibly messy. Trina and Kai, trying to be good citizens, brought Alexis some very damning evidence. They showed her a ringtone that directly implicated Willow in the shooting. Now, a lesser person might have just swept that under the rug to keep the peace, but not our Alexis. She dug her heels in. She went straight to the phone company records, poring over those call logs late into the night, verifying every single detail. She found the proof she needed, and it set her on a collision course with Willow. I just know that when Alexis finally corners Willow to confront her, it is going to be a scene for the ages. I can picture it now, Alexis standing tall, laying out all the cards on the table, refusing to back down an inch. She is going to tell Willow straight to her face that she knows about the shooting, that she knows about the ringtone, and that she knows exactly what Kai and Trina uncovered. But in doing so, in her righteous pursuit of justice, Alexis is making a terrible, terrible mistake. She is putting a giant target right on poor Kai's back. She is spilling the beans without thinking about the severe consequences for the people who helped her. And let me tell you, Willow is not going to take that news lying down. We already know that Kai has been sweating bullets The poor boy even handed in his resignation because the pressure was getting to be too much for him to handle. But resigning is not going to save him. When he and Willow had that massive falling out, the look on her face was enough to freeze hot water. She made it crystal clear that he was not going to just walk away from this mess unscathed. It was a threat, plain and simple, delivered with a coldness that sent shivers right down my spine. Kai knows too much, and in a town like Port Charles, knowing too much is practically a death sentence. I feel so terribly bad for Kai. He is just a young man who got caught up in a web of lies and deceit that was way over his head. After that argument with Willow, he has been walking around looking like he has seen a ghost. He knows that his life is in grave danger, and the tragedy is that there is nowhere for him to run. He tried to do the right thing by exposing the truth about Drew being shot, and now he is paying the ultimate price for his honesty. It breaks my heart to pieces, it truly does. You just want to reach out and protect these young folks from the monsters lurking in the shadows, but we are completely powerless to stop it. This brings us back to Alexis and that dreadful moment she is hurtling toward. All the whispers and rumors suggest that Kai is going to meet a very tragic end, and it is highly likely that Alexis will be the one to find his lifeless body. Imagine the absolute horror of that moment. Walking into a room, expecting a normal day, and finding a young man whose life was cut short because of a secret you helped bring to the light of day. The guilt is going to consume her from the inside out. She is going to blame herself for dragging him into the open, for using his evidence to confront Willow. It is the kind of heavy, suffocating guilt that eats away at a person's soul. And of course, human nature being what it is, Alexis is going to immediately jump to the conclusion that Willow pulled the trigger. Who could blame her? After that heated argument, after the terrifying threats, after all the bad blood over the affidavits and the Drew situation, Willow looks as guilty as sin. Alexis is going to want vengeance. She is going to want to see Willow locked away for good, convinced that she is a cold-blooded killer who silenced Kai to save her own skin. It is going to be an all-out war between these two women, and it is going to tear their families apart piece by piece. But ladies, we have to look closer, because things in Port Charles are rarely as simple as they appear on the surface. While Willow might be guilty of many things lately, and while she certainly had the motive and the anger to hurt Kai, I have a sneaking suspicion that she might actually be innocent of this particular crime. Yes, you heard me right. I think Alexis might be barking up the wrong tree entirely, blinded by her own guilt and her preconceived notions about how far Willow has fallen into the darkness. We have to remember that there are other sinister forces at play in this town. We absolutely cannot forget about the other dark cloud hanging over our beloved characters. There is a very real, very dangerous stalker out there who is completely obsessed with Trina. This stalker has been lurking in the background, waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike. What if this stalker saw Kai as a threat? What if the stalker realized that Kai was getting too close to Trina, or that he was involved in things that could bring the police snooping around? It makes perfect sense to me that the stalker would take Kai out of the picture, effectively killing two birds with one stone. If the stalker is the one who actually murders Kai, it creates the most brilliant, twisted cover-up imaginable. All the blame falls squarely on Willow's shoulders, leaving the real killer free to continue terrorizing our sweet Trina. It is a masterful stroke of evil, and it leaves poor Alexis fighting the completely wrong enemy. I sit here and think about how all these different storylines are weaving together: the shooting, the lake, the affidavits, the stalker, and it just blows my mind. The writers are weaving a tangled web, and our favorite characters are caught right in the sticky middle of it, fighting for their lives. I just hope and pray that the truth comes out before any more innocent lives are ruined beyond repair. Alexis is going to need all the support she can get to navigate this waking nightmare. She is going to have to look past her own crushing guilt and her fiery anger at Willow to see the real danger lurking in the shadows. And as for Willow, well, she might be about to learn a very hard lesson about the consequences of throwing violent threats around. Even if she did not kill Kai, her own bad behavior has painted her into a corner where no one will believe her innocence, and that is a tragedy in itself. It is times like these that remind me why I have been so captivated by these stories for all these years. The raw emotion, the intense drama, the way these characters reflect the very real struggles of pride, guilt, and redemption. We watch them make terrible mistakes, but we also watch them fight with everything they have to make things right again. I will be glued to my television screen, waiting to see how Alexis handles this gruesome discovery and whether Trina and the others can uncover the true identity of the stalker before it is too late. Until next time, my friends, take care of yourselves, hug your loved ones a little tighter, and keep your eyes open, because you never know what is waiting just around the corner.